Chaos struck Singapore as Charles Leclerc collided with Lando Norris in the pit lane, sparking criticism, frustration, and questions over Ferrari's fading form, while Lewis Hamilton quietly hinted at hidden promise. Charles Leclerc has shed light on his pit lane clash with Lando Norris during a frantic second practice session at the Singapore Grand Prix. The session itself was stop-start chaos, with 2 red flag interruptions after incidents involving George Russell and Liam Lawson. In the rush to get back on track, Ferrari released Leclerc straight into Norris's path, sparking an unusual and almost farcical collision. The contact shoved Norris into the pit wall, snapping his front wing and leaving his McLaren mechanics scrambling to push the damaged car back to the garage for urgent repairs. Good FP1, very difficult FP2. It's been just a very messy FP2 with the traffic and with the red flags and with the pit lane incident, so lots of things going on which haven't been very positive. But we'll reset and come back tomorrow stronger. I think the pace is in the car, so that's the good one. Speaking about the incident with Norris, Leclerc admitted, "I've analysed it. My camera was on my face, so I couldn't see to double-check with my mechanic, but speaking with him, it was a bit of confusion with the 2 McLarens going out. It looked like they were going out at the same time, so he thought they would go out slower, so I didn't have a message to stop. On these kind of cases, you rely on the team, but these kind of things happen." It was also in a tricky moment because with all the red flags, everyone was in a rush to get out to do some laps. It's a combination of things. It's not something you want, but these things happen. Sky Sports F1 pit lane reporter Ted Kravitz, who witnessed the clash unfold just a few feet away, didn't hold back in his criticism. He slammed both Ferrari and McLaren, arguing that neither team should have let such a needless pit lane crash happen in the first place. "That was ill-judged and badly executed by everybody," he said. "In this scramble to get out ahead of everyone else, let's try and get out without crashing into anyone. That was entirely unnecessary. They have checked Lando Norris's front suspension, but Lando had to feel the car at 10 miles per hour going down the pit lane to see if it was okay." On the other side of the coin, when it was Lando's turn to be asked about the incident, he said, "It cost the team a bit of money, which is a shame. Just a difficult day for me, not feeling too great with the car. I'm missing all the sensations I had here last year, so there's plenty to work on. Just a bad day." The incident is another highlight, or should I say low light, from the team that has underperformed in the eyes of many. Scuderia Ferrari's Charles Leclerc has admitted that morale within the team has dipped, with both he and teammate Lewis Hamilton still chasing their first win of the season. Ferrari, once seen as McLaren's fiercest challenger, has now slipped to third in the Constructors' Championship battle, locked in a tight scrap with Red Bull and Mercedes, with just 18 points covering the trio heading into Singapore. Much of the frustration has centered around the temperamental SF25, a car that's proven notoriously difficult to keep in its sweet spot. Even on weekends where everything clicked, like Hungary, where Leclerc was leading and on course for victory, reliability issues such as a chassis fault robbed them of crucial points. Hamilton, meanwhile, continues to adjust after 12 years at Mercedes. While still acclimating to his new machine, his pace has often been close to Leclerc's, highlighting just how fine the margins are. When pressed about Ferrari's dip in form and the widening gap to McLaren, Leclerc responded, "I think we are all disappointed as a team. Especially when, with Ferrari, you are always targeting being back on top and not fighting for a second, third, or fourth place. That's not what we want, and so we are not happy. I'm not happy, and we've got to do better, and that's very clear for every member of the team." Leclerc went on to point out that McLaren's rapid progress hasn't come by chance, crediting the team for making bigger strides than anyone else on the grid since last season. He stressed that Ferrari now has to dig deep, uncover the underlying issues holding them back, and make a decisive leap forward in performance. "Honestly, if I knew exactly the area where we are lacking, it would be easy work. It's not as easy as that, but what I can say is that Mercedes, Red Bull, and ourselves kind of did the same step from last year to this year. But there's one team that found something special, and that is McLaren. And now it's up to us to understand what they've done so special in order to close that gap. I think Red Bull probably found part of the solution, and we could see that in the last few races. Mercedes and ourselves didn't yet, and we are working towards that. But to tell you exactly where we are lacking, we know what areas. How do we achieve that is another story. And there's a lot of work to understand that and to find the solutions. But McLaren kind of did a step that nobody else did. On the other side of the garage, former F1 driver Anthony Davidson believes Lewis Hamilton's demeanor tells a very different story to the timing sheets from second practice in Singapore. Despite ending FP2 down in 10th, more than 7/10 adrift of Oscar Piastri, Davidson noted that Hamilton's body language and upbeat tone hinted at hidden speed within the Ferrari camp. It had been a scrappy session overall, with 2 red flag interruptions disrupting running. Hamilton never managed a clean, representative lap in the closing stages, while teammate Charles Leclerc, who did complete one on soft tyres, could only manage 9th, just ahead of him. Even so, Davidson picked up on Hamilton's unusually positive post-session comments, suggesting Ferrari's raw pace isn't fully reflected in the results. He sounded so optimistic. I can read a lot by his body language, and he wears his heart on his sleeve, as we know, for good and bad, Davidson explained. I am surprised he's sounding so positive. I take positivity from Ferrari's efforts and what we can see happening tomorrow and on Sunday, because if he feels comfortable in the car, then he's such an instinctive, intuitive driver that he's already feeling that the car under him is doing good things. The car that he's always wanted to have around this track. Onwards and upwards for him in that car, and he's certainly feeling more comfortable. He just needs that luck to be on his side for the whole weekend now. Lewis Hamilton has been quietly chipping away since the summer break, steadily closing the gap to Charles Leclerc and edging closer to that long-awaited first podium of the season. Looking back on his Friday running in Singapore, Hamilton said, "It's generally been a good day. I have enjoyed driving the car. It's the first time driving a Ferrari at this track. I've always wondered all these years from looking at onboards what the differences would be, and it's the first time I got to feel that today." It was positive. Obviously, McLaren are very fast. Getting a clean lap isn't easy. I feel like there's lots of positives to take from today, lots of learnings. Quite happy with the progress that we've made from session to session. I feel like we've made steps forward today. I feel like overnight we won't change much, but of course, trying to refine the setup. See if we can extract a little bit more to get as close as we can to the McLarens. And so, from pit lane chaos to Ferrari's uphill fight, Singapore sets the stage for answers. Can Leclerc and Hamilton turn promise into podiums, or will McLaren's surge leave Maranello chasing shadows?